Welcome back to SnowRunner and Taymyr. On the last episode, we got started revealing the Zimnegorsk map by doing the geological research contract. On this episode, we're going to continue to reveal the map by taking the TUZ 166 out and doing some exploration. Let's get started. I pulled the TUZ 166 in from the Drownlands map. First thing we're going to do is get started upgrading it. So we found the KR 120 engine in Quarry. We'll get that installed right away. And we also found the tuned custom suspension. This is going to allow us to put 39-inch mud tires on, which will help us in this map because there's big rocks and a lot of deep mud. So we'll leave the garage, and the first thing we're going to do is head out on the road, and there's a task out here that we can activate right away. And this is the documentary film task, where we'll need to visit the survey point that's in the middle of the map. Before we get started doing that, we're going to head up the road a little bit further and we'll hang our first left, and there's a watchtower close by that we can get. This is the last watchtower on the map that we need to discover because we already discovered the first two with the Royal. The road is pretty muddy, but the TUZ does a pretty good job. In my opinion, it's probably best to just stay off the road and take the grass as much as possible. So we'll get this watchtower opened, get a nice view of the map. It's pretty rugged, and there's two upgrades and a task close by that we need to discover. So we'll head to this first upgrade, then the second one, and then down to the abandoned car task. So let's continue down the road here, and then I'm going to try to stay to the left. There's an intersection here I'm going to cross and try to get into the grass on the other side. The roads are so deep, it really pays to just do your best to stay off of them. But once we're in the grass, it really isn't any issue at all to drive through here. You do have to watch out for the occasional boulder that will try to flip you over. There's not really a whole lot out there to winch yourself back up. But right on the inside of the farmstead, there's an upgrade, and this is the biggest engine for the Taiga. This is the one that we've been waiting for. We'll head right out the other side, go through the fence and up into the trees. Driving through here is not any issue at all, as long as you don't get going too fast. Just take your time so you don't flip over on any of these dips or boulders. And when you get up a little ways here, you'll see that we can cross the road where it's nice and firm and enter the trees on the other side, and that second upgrade is just up ahead. This is the biggest engine for trucks like the Dan and some of the other heavy Russian trucks. So now we have the top engine for two of our main trucks that we've been using lately, and they should perform a lot better. You're going to find pretty much all of the top engines for the Russian trucks are going to be in this map. There are some that are in later regions, in DLC regions, but we don't need any of those at the moment anyway, so this is going to be a big help to us. Then we'll cross the road again, backtracking, and there's another camp down here. We can find a task where we need to haul this TUZ 166 back to the garage. This is the abandoned car task, so I'm just going to hook up to the back of it. We'll head right out the same way we came, right back up into the trees. You can see the down arrow there pointing towards the garage. That's where we're headed. In my opinion, it's a lot easier to drive through the trees than it is to try to pull this back on the road. The TUZ 166 does a pretty good job scouting this map when you choose to do it like this, because it turns really sharp and it's got a good short wheelbase for extreme off-roading like this. It's also a pretty stable little scout, even with the tuned custom suspension. So now we're back to where we found the first Taiga engine upgrade. We'll just go through the fence here again, right through the yard. We'll watch out for these stumps, of course, and then we're going to head back down right by the gateway that we came in from Quarry. We'll just take this grassy area right down the hill, and there is a mud pit down here, but if you go through the trees, we'll be able to cross it in a section that's not too bad. I guess maybe staying to the right just a little bit further would probably help even more, but it's really no issue to get through there. This is why I like to use this scout to unveil the map rather than, say, the Tatarin, because that thing, even though it has the ability to drive through deep mud, that's pretty much what we would have to do if we chose to come through here with this, is take that through all of the steep mud, because it's not very nimble, it's not very good going through trees, and definitely not good going around or over any of these big boulders. So you kind of have two options. You can take the big powerhouse scout that'll drive through all the mud, or you can take the small scout that is more nimble and easier to navigate through the trees and hills. Either way is fine. I just prefer to do it this way. Now we can drop the TUZ off here at the garage, but before we do, I'm going to grab the fuel out of it so I don't need to run back through the garage to get fueled up to head back out of here again. Now we can just run over to the repair point here, get repaired real quick, and then we'll head right back out of here. Now we can activate this truck recovery task. This is the task that gives us the step 310. We're going to get started by heading back out of the garage here, and then we're going to take a right again, and you can see where that documentary film task is. We're going to drive straight through there and take a back way out of this area so we don't have to cross through the deep muddy river crossing. We'll follow the shoreline to the right here and then just go up a little ways, and then we're going to veer off to the left and cross the swamp right by these trees. This isn't too bad through here. The little TUZ does a pretty good job going through this kind of mud. It's light enough that it just kind of floats over the top. And then on the other side, you'll see a little clearing goes up the hill. Up ahead, we're going to find another Tuz Patarin that we can discover. In my opinion, this is the easiest way to get up to it, is by staying to the right and going up through the trees here. There are a lot of rocks here. It's like a minefield of rocks, so you got to watch out for them. But even with the rocks here, this is still a lot easier than trying to get up to this hilltop from any of the other directions. So just off to the left here is the Tatarin, and then we're going to put some of our fuel into it off the roof rack. We'll drop 40 liters into it just so it has enough fuel in case we need to use it later on as a recovery vehicle. If you wanted to, you could switch vehicles and take the Tuz out, just put all of your fuel into it. So we'll continue down the map and we'll hang our first left. We're going to follow the hillside here. These rocks are pretty nasty. There is a lot of trees out here that we can use to winch ourselves back up. In a situation like this where you flip over on a boulder that kind of hooks your back tire, it doesn't take a whole lot to flip you, but you should be pretty safe if you have an autonomous winch. And right when we get over this hilltop, you'll see on the other side here, we're coming back down to the area where the step 310 is located. So we'll just go down the hill, taking it easy. And once we get out to the bottom here, it's going to become deep mud like immediately. So I'm going to try to stay on the grass as much as possible. We'll cross the road, and up here on the left is the step 310, which we'll need to restore. The only thing we can really do right now is drop 4 of these spare tires into it. So we might as well do that because we're not going to need them on this journey, and it'll help later on when we come out here with another vehicle to finish repairing it. We won't have to use any of the spare tires out of that. It's completely destroyed and completely out of fuel. So now that we've done that, we can continue going up the hill on the other side. We can cruise right up the hill here. This isn't any issue at all. And just up ahead, we're going to find the survey point for the documentary film task. Pretty much in the middle of the map now, and going through these trees isn't any issue at all for this little vehicle. Documentary film is now complete, and we're going to go pick up a hidden upgrade that's sitting right here in this triangle of darkness. We're just going to drive right across the top of the hillside all the way over to that. So we'll get turned around. Like I said, try to stay up on the top of the hill to the left here, because on just down the crest of the hill, there's a lot of these rocks and cliff sides. You don't want to be trying to drive over that stuff. You're going to end up flipping over, probably rolling down the hill, and there's not anything really to winch yourself back up to. So stay close to the trees and you should be fine. We'll navigate through here. There are some roots. They're not really going to tangle you, but they're pretty solid. So if you hit them too hard, they can make your truck like jump around. Just got to watch out for that. And here's that upgrade we were looking for. This is the Azov AM 160, which is going to be one of the biggest engines that we can use in some of the bigger Russian scout trucks. Now from here, we'll just head down this hillside, and then once out the bottom, we'll head straight towards our waypoint down there. We're coming back into the town district. We can take this first paved road to the right, and we'll follow it down just a little ways. We'll see an intersection here. We can hang a right at the intersection. After going a little bit further down the road, we can turn left, go through the swamp, and this is the last upgrade that we'll be able to get on this map. This is the Azov 16.1, which is going to be the biggest engine for some trucks like the Azov 6 and the Azov 5. Definitely want to get that one. Now from here, we'll head back to the garage area. We'll jump into the Dan. We're going to get rid of this trailer. We have 2 of them sitting here. There's no need for it. So rather than letting it get all cluttered, let's just run over to the trailer store and sell this thing back. Then we're going to take the Dan into the garage and get it upgraded a little bit more and get it headed out onto the map to go restore the Step 310 truck. The Dan is definitely ready for an engine upgrade and to get some mud tires installed on it. So the first thing we're going to do is put the top engine in, and then we'll go down to the tires and we're going to install 51-inch MHS4 mud tires. We're also going to install a van body add-on so that we have some repair points, and we'll head back out. There is a back way out of this garage area that's going to kind of cut down some of our time and effort, so we'll head back here. You do have to take it at a specific angle to get through the trees here. Once we get this fence knocked down, it's kind of in the way there, but once we get the fence knocked down, we'll be able to get through here pretty easily, just as long as our truck is pointed in the right direction. The Dan definitely is not a nimble truck. It takes a little bit too long to steer from what I would prefer, and the front end sticking out. I almost always get it hooked up on trees when I'm trying to go through tight spaces like that, but we'll be fine. Now we'll cross the swamp here where we just did with the Tuz 166. And once we get through here, we could go up the clearing that we took the 166 up, but we need to get to the left, so I'm gonna cut through the trees here. Just gotta try to find a spot that's open. That's probably not the best one. We'll back up just a hair, take the next spot to the left here. This will work, and we'll come out the other side of the trees here. We just have to drive up the hill. The deep muddy road that we're trying to avoid is just to the left. And so by going this way, we've cut down a lot of the super swampy, deep mud that we would have to navigate through, and it would take us quite a while. The step 310 is just up ahead. You can see the yellow diamond there. Now we're back to the road. We're gonna have to cross the road now. Actually, probably should have crossed a little bit sooner on the other side of this tree line to my left. It would have set us up with a little better angle, but I'm not gonna drive around, so I'll just winch to this tree, get me pulled out of here, see if I can get a better angle to get across this dip. Sometimes it's hard to see where you're at when the fog and the rain are heavy. A lot of the landmarks can start to look the same, but we'll be fine. We just got to get up the road here a little ways around this rock formation on the left side, then we're going to cut back up into the grass. You can see how deep this mud is. It's definitely not the most enjoyable road to drive down. We'll run up the hillside. Looks like there's another boulder here. These boulders are everywhere. Let's try to drive around them if you can. And the step 310 is just up ahead. So we do need to go through these trees, and you can see it's hitting there. We can't quite reach the step 310 to repair it, so we're gonna have to pull it ahead just a little bit and then drop it, and we'll head right back down towards it. We'll get it repaired and restored. We have plenty of repair points, and we can just give it all the fuel that we have in the dam. We have more than enough. The truck is now discovered. We're gonna steal the fuel back, so we have a truck here for recovery and repair when we're working on other stuff in the map. Come back on the next one when we take the tag out and get started doing some of the contracts in this area. I'd appreciate it if you'd like and subscribe, share, comment, all the above. It really helps my videos get out to more people. See you on the next one. Thanks for watching.